Welcome again to Family Dynamics with Bola. Some children carry the words spoken to them for a lifetime. A single sentence can become their confidence or their insecurity. Years later, many adults still remember the teacher who believed in them, that particular parent who constantly criticized them, or the moment someone said to them, I am proud of you. That's the power of words. And for some children, words are not just communication, they are connection, they are love. In today's episode, that's why we're talking about children whose love language is words of affirmation. I am very sure you listened to the previous episode, right? So today, let's dive deep into the second love language for our children, words of affirmation. These are children who feel deeply loved through encouragement, verbal affection, praise, reassurance, and spoken connection. So when you have a child whose love language is words of affirmation, believe me, they are very often sensitive to the tone that you use, to correction and verbal encouragement that you give to them. You know, they are the children who light up when you praise them. You see them ask often, and you'll be wondering, why are they asking me this? Mommy, did I do good? Daddy, how do you think about what I did? And when you give them compliments, they repeat that compliment for days. And when you encourage them, you see them thriving. But also, they are the children who shut down quickly when you criticize them. You just see them slump, put their head down. It's hard when you criticize them. They take it to heart. Sometimes when you don't even give them the affirmation that they need, you will see them trying to just draw it out from you, right? Mommy, do you like my drawing? Daddy, did you see what I did? Did you see how I jumped? Oh, I did this, I did that, I did. Oh my God. Are you proud of me? You will begin to see those are children that their primary love language are words of affirmation. When they say those things, right, it's not so much of them asking you, did you see my drawing? Did you see what I did? They're really, really, truly asking you, do you see me? Do I really matter to you? And we as parents, our answer to this question shapes the inner voice that our children listen to for a very, very long time. So, for many of us busy parents, we unintentionally become correction heavy. I've been guilty of this. We're very busy. We don't have time, right? So we spend our days just saying, hurry up, stop that, don't do that, not now, please, be careful. Why would you do that? All those words. And I believe correction is necessary. Absolutely. We should correct our children. But when all we do is correction, or the first thing we do is correction, it begins to feel like the only time these children get our attention is when they are doing something wrong. I'll tell you a quick story. I remember one of the mothers that we've had some conversation was telling me how in in a particular year their child became so clingy. They were beginning to wonder, "Oh, what's going on? This is not the child that I've been raising." When we started digging deep, just really exploring things, we realized that the only consistent words this child had heard from their mom were instructions and corrections, nothing else. A child whose primary love language is words of affirmation, all they heard for a long period of time: do this for the laundry. Why would you do that? Why are you. There was no affirmation, no encouragement, no verbal connection in that. So, what we decided to do was the mom just constantly giving that words of affirmation, like, I love how thoughtful you are. Thank you for helping me. I'm so happy that you are my son. And guess what? This guy's behavior changed dramatically. We're not saying sugarcoat things, but you have to understand when the primary love language of a child is words of affirmation, the way you would relate with them would be different from another child that is not their own primary love language, right? Because of course we can see that children bloom in the environment of words. Normally we are supposed to praise our children for when they do something good and all that, but specifically when words of affirmation is the primary love language, we need to go a little bit deeper and know how to navigate it. As parents, I want you to understand something very important. It's not just what you say to your child that matters. The way you speak to them becomes the way they eventually speak to themselves. If they are constantly hearing you're difficult, they begin to believe that they are a problem in the world. If they hear you're so lazy, they may actually grow up into shame instead of them being disciplined, like, oh, I'm such a lazy person, I don't like who I am, and all that. But when they hear words that affirm them, when they hear things that make them, that calls out the good in them, they begin to develop resilience, right? Those words that we speak over them become their identity. They know that they are loved at home, so nobody is going to bring something out there. And when somebody, let's say a bully, comes and say you are ugly, like, oh, what? I am beautiful. I am made in God's image, right? And we have to understand that children whose primary love language is words of affirmation, they don't just remember your words. They build their self worth around the words that you speak to them. They begin to believe what you say. So now let's make it practical. We don't need long speeches. We just need moments that are intentional because we're very busy and they're not the only children that we have, right? So I'll just give few ways where we can speak affirmation daily. Daily, you know. The first thing is affirm their effort, not just their result. So let's say they come home with good grades. It's not enough for you to say, oh, good grades and all that. You could say something like, I love how hard you worked, especially if they've worked so hard. I love how hard you worked. I noticed that you kept trying even when it was difficult. Do you see how that goes ahead to feed their soul? That goes ahead to build their character. It doesn't put any pressure on them. It just builds who they are. Like, okay, I kept trying and my parents really appreciated that. It's not enough that I got good grades because, it's our expectation that they would get good grades. But when they work hard, we tell them what we love with what they did, right? And then the second thing is, let's speak identity to them, not just labels. identity. Yeah, your child may be smart, but you don't start telling them, oh, you're the smart one, you're the quiet one, you're the talkative one, you're the this one. We could say something like, you are very thoughtful. That's an identity, it's not a label. You are brave, you are kind. So when we have those kind of identity based affirmation, it creates stability in them. When we give labels to them, it limits them. But when we speak to their identity, they are now more stable. Oh, thoughtful. I'm a thoughtful person. I think things through. I think about what others feel. I think about how my behavior affects others. It creates stability in them. And the third thing that we can do is to correct them without crushing them. We don't need to shame them. Sometimes when we make mistakes as these parents, I mean, I would tell you, I've made this mistake too. We're learning on this journey. So the most important thing is for us to, when we make mistakes, we come back, right? We don't crush them. We don't say, what's wrong with you? Why are you not using your brain? Why are you acting this way? No, we can correct them. Let's say, for example, they did something about me, like, that choice you made was not the best one. You are still loved, and this is the consequence, right? So, with this, we are separating that behavior from the identity. So, if we keep saying, what's wrong with you? They begin to believe that something is actually wrong with them. And we don't want to do that. We already know that these kids, they take their identity from the words that we speak to them. And as busy parents, because I know we're very busy, sometimes we think that affirmation requires a big moment. No, we can use micro affirmation, simple things like, I missed you today. Thank you for making me laugh. Thank you for helping, even if it's their chore. Thank you for doing what you're supposed to do. Those tiny words, right? Fill their emotional tank and they feel loved. Because I'm telling you, I had to go through this to really understand, why would a child not feel loved when you're pouring all the love in them? Once we understand their primary love language, and we begin to do it moment by moment, you would see how they would rise up and their emotional tanks are filled. And last thing I want to talk about, practical thing that we could do, is we could create like a verbal ritual as a family, right? Maybe every morning or every night, you speak one intentional sentence over your child. For example, you could say, I love being your parent. You make it so easy for me if they do that. Or, I'm proud of who you are becoming. You've brought joy to this home. Imagine them beaming all through the day, maybe as they go to school or as they even go to bed. That word will be replaying in their mind. So I want to encourage you, because years from now, your children would not even remember every toy. They may not remember every toy you bought for them. They may not remember every meal you made for them, but they will remember how your words made them feel. They will remember whether your voice felt safe to them. They would remember how home is Is it encouraging? Is it loving? Or is it about criticism? One thing, one sentence, one word, one moment can become a lifelong anchor for our children. As parents, we have to remember that our words are seeds. I always say this, our words are seed. So let's speak carefully, let's speak intentionally, and let's speak life into our children. So as we go around this week, I want to give you a challenge. I always like that because it's not enough for us to learn. It's when we apply it that we can see result. Every single day, speak one intentional affirmation over your child. Not about their achievement, not about their performance, but about who they are. And watch what happens. Watch their confidence grow up. Watch their emotional security deepen. Watch your connection with them strengthen. Because for a child whose primary love language is words of affirmation, your voice is their emotional home. Your voice is what propels them. Your voice speaks to them and it rings for a very long time in their mind. Until I see you on the next episode, please continue to speak over your child. Thank you so much for listening. This is Family Dynamics with Bola.